Hi there, I'm Kamil, ex-CSGO pro player and now a Radiant Valorant coach. I've coached over 1500 clients and 20 teams in the last 3 years. And now I want to share my knowledge with you through VOD reviews that I do for people in my Discord. If you want your VOD to be reviewed, make sure to join. Link in the description below. Okay, let's see what you got here. Okay, so I'm assuming idea was to push fast ramp, he smoked so you guys stopped, which is completely fine. Okay, good kill. Okay, so try to be a little bit more precise with your crosshair. What I mean by that is that whenever like you're opening a new angle, that should be kind of like your crosshair is following the angle and also like the main thread. So right here, I'm assuming that you thought like this is the only ramp player and that's it. Right now you should be worried about two options. Either this was a bait setup, because on higher level this might be a bait setup where this guy kind of throws himself at you guys and there is a second guy like on the right side behind those boxes holding the cross, or there could be a rotation coming in from under heaven. So any of those positions right here, they're not that important, but what was important is like here, you're actually pre-aiming this somewhat well, and then right here, I don't know why our crosshair is going here. It completely does not make sense, because you can see nobody's here, so you should not be switching like this. So, what you should have done is until you get to this point, your crosshair should always be holding this, because this is the only possibility you should worry about. And then when you get here, this is where already you should have checked the right side. We completely forgot about the right side. But okay, you seem to be pushing down. And just for the future, if you like this VOD and let's say you want to come to my long-term coaching or you're going to record VODs, either just send me the demo and I'll just review them on my own. Or if you're going to be recording them like this, try to turn off the X-ray, because X-ray is a little bit annoying to review VODs with. But okay, your teammate dies, you're trying to refrag. Yeah, usually you don't want to kind of play with the door like that. At this point, either shoot the door, because probably the bullets are gonna go through, maybe do some damage, maybe distract him. And if not, maybe you could have just simply like gone here. When he opens the door, you push in. And the reason why you want to do it like this is because in CS2 you have to remember the peeker's advantage is insane. It's like 5 times bigger than in CSGO. So you want to always be the one peeking. So for example, you know he's gonna want to open the door, go here, he opens the door, and then you peek him. And that's usually the way you want to play. Counter-Strike 2. Okay, so we lose the pistol, you guys decide to force, which is fine. It's kind of the new meta of playing CS2, yeah, and this is another like I would say like a newbie mistake. And by no means obviously I don't want to be offensive, it's just when we learn CS, there are what I would call like golden rules of doing stuff in a specific way. Like for example, if you play Mirage and you want the pistol round, usually on the second round you want to avoid pushing connector. The main reason why you want to avoid pushing connector is because when you go into connector, you're going to have to worry about any close angle in connector, short, stairs, jungle. When you get out of connector, there's even more angles. So there are like certain golden rules about certain maps and certain plays that you want to follow. So for example, usually when there is like an outside player, the outside player is going to nade outside, and he's always going to do it immediately. That's why usually what you simply just want to do is either go the way that this guy has gone if you want to go fast, because the nade usually is going to pop here, or just simply wait. Like wait 3 seconds, let the nade pop, and then you go. Whereas right here, for no apparent reason, we're losing 55 HP. So this is like another, so to say, golden rule to remember. If you're going outside, wait 5 seconds. If there is no nade, then you can cross. Okay, so being on 5 HP, I personally would just kind of try to let my teammate do the heavy lifting and just kind of like wait rather than like throw your life away. So we should be like on the passive end of doing stuff. Okay, got a little bit lucky here that they didn't hit us, and it seems like everybody's even B here. Okay, I mean, decent position. That was not a bad position to be in having 5 HP, because the enemy might not check it like it happened, so good comeback on the second round. Let's see if we don't make the same mistake twice. And unfortunately we are running the same way. The only reason why we didn't get hit by the nade is because the guy, I don't know, his movement was bad, because he's so late, like he had the 4th spawn, but... Yeah, and here, technically speaking, usually what you want to do when you go here, just to kind of see what's going on, is if you go this way, like a little bit closer to this box, you can jump like from here to here, so you're jumping above the box and you can spot if anybody's crossing. Right here specifically it wouldn't give you much because they're actually delayed, but here also you could consider peeking left side to check the left side push and then extend the angle to the right side. Whereas here we wait, and as you can see, the problem with this is you're opening so many lines. It's not like you peeked this angle first, then that angle, then this angle. It's just like you open the entire line. And as I said, I kind of don't blame you, because I mean, you didn't predict them they're gonna push outside, but usually you want to separate 1v1s. That's why what we want to do is what we call slicing the pie. Slicing the pie meaning you separate each and every single angle. Whereas here, unfortunately, you opened yourself to 3, potentially even 4 angles at the same time. Okay, so here we got away from the nades by going really fast. So that's one way of doing it, I guess. And it seems like you're confident, you're taking fights. So yeah, I like this, because at the end of the day, you're not going to progress if you're going to play too passive. So you're looking for a fight. We had the gun advantage. Unfortunately, he hit the head, we didn't. So it's not like a huge mistake or anything. The fight was good. Your crosshair was prepared. The movement wasn't bad. So nothing to be picky about. Okay, so we are definitely addicted to playing outside. And once again, same mistake. So I'm not exactly sure why you do this and then you just randomly stop here and you just wait. I'm not sure if you're afraid of flashes or what, but make sure to get that early info, as I said, by either jumping here, so you see above this and this box to what's going on, because here if you jumped, as you can see, you would be spotting every single one of them standing next to main, or just peek left side. Peek left side to see if they're not here, because you have like a really tight angle here and you can easily spray them down, whereas here, like we hear those nades and we just stop, and now it seems like you're like frozen. Like we hear that they're gonna push, so just simply hack this box, put your crosshair here and just hold. Maybe you can spray them down, whereas here, we're way too late with that. Still, you getting away with one is better than nothing, but... Yeah, so another piece of advice I just want to give you is, because this is once again a lot of the times what gets people killed, which is indecisiveness and not exactly knowing what you want to do. So what I would like you to understand is that buying phase, so essentially when you're buying stuff, should be your planning phase. You should be planning what you want to do. Because especially if you're playing pugs and you're not playing, you know, as 5 and there is no call, whatever, like you want to have a plan of what am I gonna do. And that plan should be like immediately executed when the round begins. Obviously sometimes you have to adapt because somebody could smoke you, somebody could molly you and stuff like that, but you want to know what you want to do. Whereas right here, clearly I can see you go into the lobby and you're considering nading, maybe not nading, then you're looking at a closed door and you don't know what you want to do. So always have a plan going into the round. Like you shouldn't be autopiloting, you shouldn't be thinking of what you have for dinner. Just always have a plan. Okay, I'm going to break the door, maybe smoke in front of the door to make them think I'm going vent, and at the end of the day I'm not going to go vent, I'm going to try to sneak through the smoke. Or I'm going to go ramp with my teammates and push there. Or I'm going to go silo, look for kills. So like have a plan going into the round always, because that's really, really important. Because if you get on a higher level, that's what's gonna save your life, because instead of thinking what am I supposed to do during the round, you already thought about it before the round. Because if I am to give you an example, if you get on a higher level, the planning is later on really, really advanced. What I mean by that is that, for example, when I play this game, let's say I play on CT side and I'm the A player. What I'm thinking of is, what am I gonna do if they rush A? What am I gonna do if they rush ramp? And what am I gonna do if they rush outside? And what am I gonna do if they play slow? So I have 4 answers for 4 different, basically, things happening. So then I don't have to think of what my response is gonna be. So I think to myself, okay, if they're gonna rush A, obviously I'm gonna try to instantly When I get to heaven, I'm gonna molly hat, so they cannot get out of hat. I'm gonna drop backside, and if I hear them putting out the molly, I'm just gonna start spraying hat because it's a tight angle. I can get a multi kill, and if they won't, then I'm gonna try to flash towards the door to be able to help my guy that is fighting indoor. If they're gonna rush outside, I'm just gonna stay on A because that's my responsibility. And until my outside guys die, I'm just gonna be worried about A. What if they rush ramp? If they rush ramp and nobody is gonna be rotating lower, I might consider going down vent. And if they're gonna play slow, same thing. I just stay on A and I pay attention to the radar to identify what's going on, right? And this way you have an answer to every single possibility, right? Okay, so you heard the guy drop vent, so you're looking for timing here, which is actually not a bad play, because as we can see, nobody is even watching that. Nice awareness, beautiful crosshair preparation as well. And you're thinking of chasing this guy down. Was a little bit risky. I myself maybe could have considered looking for the A player, because A would be easier for you to get, because there might be like one more maybe, and the fights wouldn't be so hard, whereas if you go lower, you have to look for him like everywhere. But this is not a bad idea either, so... Yeah, cross replacement a little bit too low. You always want to be kind of aiming to where the head is going to end up being. Here you actually fixed it somewhat. Okay, that was a little bit lucky, because when he peeked you, you started moving and shooting. Whereas you either want to move or you want to shoot. You don't want to be combining that, so... Okay, so we go outside, we're confident against Eco, obviously outside is good. You can fight those P250s, Deagles relatively well. But it seems like this round is getting a little bit hectic. Okay, we hear a guy is secret and we know one guy is heaven. It should be a relatively easy clutch, having info on both of them, but let's see what happens. Nice. Enemy's just making mistakes left and right. Ooh, yikes. Yeah, running and gunning with pistol is what it is. Not much you could have done there, to be honest. Okay, so we're switching our pathing. See, and that's a huge difference. There we go. Yikes. Yeah, so another thing, the same way you should be preparing yourself for like the plans you're gonna execute and stuff like that, you want to be mentally preparing yourself of what you're gonna do, and more importantly of how you're gonna do things. So one of the biggest things and biggest mistakes that a lot of my clients do at the beginning is they tend to overcrouch or overspray in multiple situations. So the reason why that happens is because it's their instinct. So it's hard to, just go and do something counterintuitive, because the instinct kicks in, and then obviously you just do whatever the instinct tells you. So now you're going outside and you will be taking mid-range to long-range fights. So obviously spraying is not the best option. So what you should be doing is either tapping or bursting, preferably bursting, because bursting in this game is actually really OP. What I mean by bursting is you shoot 2 bullets, so you hold the mouse long enough for 2 bullets to be released, then you press D to sidestep, and you burst again, and you do it until you kill the guy. So you should have told yourself, okay, I'm going outside, I'm gonna be having mid-range, long-range fights, I need to be bursting, and then you peek every single angle, trying to look for a bursting fight. Whereas here, this is not a close range fight, and we just start spraying. So sure, you can obviously argue like, yeah, but if I hit the first bullet, then it's gonna be great. Yeah, but what if you don't? And that's where bursting kind of gives you an out, because you can miss the first burst, sidestep to the right or the left, depending on what your position is, and then fix the next burst. Whereas with the spray is, you miss the couple initial bullets, and you should be dead. So to generalize, what I'm trying to say to you is you need to be mentally preparing yourself for the fight ahead of you to actually choose the right technique. Because on a higher level, like for example for me, it's not like I'm going outside and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm gonna be bursting. Now, like I don't have to do it anymore, because I've done it so many times in my past that I know in which areas I'm gonna be fighting using the bursting technique, and in which areas I'm gonna be spraying. Whereas for people that are newer to the game, they should be doing it to kind of build like this mental pattern, so then they understand where they're going and what they're going to be doing right there. Here, technically speaking, what you could have considered doing is going to the right to extend the angle rather than going forward, because there is this rule that I'm not sure if you're aware of. Obviously, you know that in Counter-Strike we try to peek people by moving to the left or to the right, so pressing either A or D. And the reason why that is because it's harder for the enemy to hit us, because we're moving to the side rather than moving towards them, which is in the line. And right here you could have maybe considered, as I said, trying to extend the angle rather than to be walking towards an angle. And the reason why this guy has advantage is because when he peeks you, as you can see, he's really quick, and also you're moving in the line. So for him, you're like literally like a standing target. So he has advantage in that fight. And on top of it, your first bullet a lot of the times might not be accurate. Here it was close enough that it will be. But essentially, there is another aspect, and I know I'm giving you a lot, but I want you to kind of get the best out of the session. There is another aspect of the game that we use on the highest level, which is called peaking on timing. And a lot of the times, what just happened right now is something that a pro player might want to enforce on an enemy. So trying to peak them when they know the enemy is going to be moving forward. And the way we do it is we simply understand in which area the enemy has to press W simply to be able to progress, and we try to peak that area whenever we think somebody will be pushing it. So for example, what you could do is you can hide right here in garage, on the left side of garage, and when you think the enemy is progressing next to main, obviously right here if they're going next to main, they have to be pressing W. So you peak them with D, they're moving forward, that fight is yours every single time. So when you can create those those situations in which you're catching somebody moving forward or backwards sometimes, you are gonna end up that fight if you peek properly. Yeah, so it seems like you just like playing outside. I mean, I don't blame you for playing outside because it's relatively simple. You go and peek and fight people. Whereas in lobby, by yourself, you actually have to have some smoke knowledge, some like cool ideas to be able to execute from lobby. So it's not the worst thing in the world. You're kind of doing what you're comfortable with, which is great. But definitely, we could use some creativity because if you would be facing ops non-stop and outside, it would be pretty hard for you to do anything outside. And it's nice to have some lobby options, like breaking the door, smoking in front of the door, and stuff like that. Okay, so you got 2 kills, you decided to speed it up, which I actually like. The reason why I like this is because you immediately got out of the position that you were last spotted in. And obviously, the last position you were spotted in is gonna be checked by the enemy because they're looking for you, and we can even see on the X-ray that the enemy is in garage trying to look for you. So I actually like this play. You took a risk. What I don't like is this position, because you have a lot of time to reposition, because we can assume that if the enemy was here, he would have killed you when you were planting, so that means that he's not here. So you should have looked for a better position. Technically speaking, I know that you feel safe here, because you only have to worry about this door. If he comes from somewhere else, he's probably gonna make noise, but you're on 30 HP, and if the enemy does come through this door, you should not be winning this fight. I'm not saying you won't, but you shouldn't be, because you're low on HP. So I myself would have considered going ramp. The reason why going ramp is because sure, if the enemy comes ramp, it might be tough, but I highly doubt he's gonna come ramp. And if he doesn't, whether he's gonna go from this door, that door, it doesn't matter. But when he taps the bomb, you can peek having a headshot angle. Headshot angle meaning that your head is only gonna stick out because he's on a lower elevation, you're on a higher elevation, he's only gonna see your head. And the reason why you wanna have that headshot angle obviously is because you are on 30 HP. So it doesn't matter that you're low HP if you're using a headshot angle, because at the end of the day you're forcing the enemy to hit your head. And unfortunately you took your crosshair away from the angle at the same time as you opened the door, so that's rough. Okay, so outside once again, but you guys have pretty good score. You guys have 4 rounds actually without winning pistol on the T side, so that's nice. Okay, a little boost here. Okay, that's an op. I don't think we want to fight that. Okay, you pick up the op. Yeah, this is a rough clutch, but I mean, you have a lot of time. What I always say on lower level is the more time you give to the enemy, the more time they have to make mistakes. And as we can see, they are actually giving you fights which they shouldn't. So that saying, as we can see, is really, really true. Probably should have flashed. The reason why you want to flash is because, I mean, your teammates all died in this position by an op, so it's relatively obvious the op is going to be holding it. So just simply flash over red, get him off the angle, so then you take the angle and he has to peek into you. Because with an op, usually the one holding an angle wins. Okay, so we switch it up to playing lobby. We break the door. And we try to go hot. Okay, hot usually has difficult angles, but you actually got insane timing. The guy is completely out in the open doing God knows what. Okay, we hear somebody being mollied in ramp. Okay, I'll skip this just a little bit because I can see not much is gonna be happening. Okay, so you've had a lot of time on this side, and this is the position you want to play, which is not bad. You're kind of doubling up heaven, but yeah, nobody was watching lobby, my man. So I don't know. Thank God this guy didn't see you, but somebody needed to watch lobby right there. Okay, so you'll be playing outside. I'm not sure why we're hiding here. If you have a USP against the Glock, you actually do want to fight outside. As scary as it seems, you want to be fighting them long range, obviously. Okay, so this is a little bit of a problem. I know you're close to him, but now you just want to make sure if you ever encounter this sort of a situation, whether it's an M4, whether you have a Glock or a USP, if you see a guy not looking at you, you need to mentally prepare yourself for those sort of situations that I have more time to aim. So you need to stop moving and just tap him in the head. And the reason why I'm saying mentally prepare yourself, because for me, the way the game sense work, it's like a book that you put pages of mental patterns inside of that book. Mental patterns meaning situations that later on you will be able to recognize that even they're on the different map, they're the same. So this is like one of the mental patterns, like trigger discipline, that whenever the enemy is not looking my way, I should take a half a second longer to aim and then shoot. So here, unfortunately, you just start running rather than like actually just executing the guy, which could have ended up in a really tough situation. Yeah, and you're definitely too quick with the USP. So the way you're shooting your USP is bum, 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 bum. So it's really quick, and your bullets might not be exactly hitting where your crosshair is because of something that we call a recoil reset. So your weapon has to rest after each shot. And the tempo that you should be doing it at is bum, 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 so a little bit slower. So then every single bullet of yours is actually gonna hit where your crosshair is. And I know why you're doing it, because everybody does it for the same reason, is you don't want to get killed and you feel like if you're not gonna be shooting fast enough, you will die. But remember, accuracy beats speed. So just take a little bit longer in aiming and shooting and you should be completely fine. Because funny enough, if I'm like gonna tell you this, maybe it's gonna even make more sense. When I play on lower level, so I like play on with friends or something, my mentality going into those games is that I accept that the enemies are not gonna be as accurate as I am. So whenever I peek an angle, I accept that they will hit me in the chest probably, but I will respond with the headshot. So I take a little bit longer to aim because I know they will just be randomly shooting stuff. So you switch to Glock, you actually abuse running and gunning. This was perfect. Running and gunning with the Glock was perfect. Unfortunately, you lacked one bullet and you would have won that, but that was a nice try, not gonna lie. The enemies actually gave you exactly what you needed, which is separated 1v1s. Okay, so you guys go for an eco. Actually on Nuke, you could have considered forcing, I mean like all of you, because Nuke has relatively close angles all around rather than like other than outside. But yeah, I mean, you tried to flank, which was a good idea. At the end of the day on Eco, you want to find the fight that is going to be beneficial to you, which obviously flank allows you to get, but the guy was aware. That was a really nice nade. You heard them break the door, so you naded the door. Good follow up with the kill, and now we have the advantage and we can chill. Good peek. You didn't walk across the corner, you actually peeked. What I kind of don't like is that like right here you peek, you clear it, and then you make so much noise. Like you're literally telling him exactly where you are. Like, okay, you cleared it, maybe now consider going up hat and holding it from hat, because you don't want to peek the same angle twice in a in a way that like the guy heard you here and then you peek it at the same line. Either go up here or stay here and maybe randomize the timing a little bit. So like wait 5 seconds and then peek it, rather than like literally giving him a notice like listen, I'm here, make sure to peek me, and then you peek again, because that's kind of what you did with your movement. Yeah, so if you have an MP9, going from main is not the best option, because I mean, you don't want to fight outside with an MP9, if it comes to any fights here, they're not that close range. Like if somebody breaks the door and you have to peek, if they're all the way back in the door, that's also not close range. So every single time you have an MP9, you want to go heaven. From heaven, you want to jump on those silos, and from silos, you want to jump on top of hat. And then it doesn't matter whether the enemy pushes hat or door; they're both close range fights. So with MP9, always go top of hat. Okay, we mess up the nade a little bit. Yeah, because once again, it kind of feels like we don't have a plan of what we want to do. Like, we have a guy outside, so you just stay in main. Maybe your idea was that you're just gonna hold main if the outside guy gets smoked or something, but still. Here you should have responded with a smoke rather than a flash. Yeah, because if he smokes you off, you smoke him off, and then push his smoke to take control of your own. Whereas here, the flash obviously wasn't perfect, because it didn't hit specifically in the angle. And once again, we are forced to take the fight that is not beneficial for us. So yeah, usually don't play main, if I'm being honest, if you have a bad gun. Because one thing so far that I see, both on the T side and CT side, is that you're really one-dimensional. Like you have one way of playing on the T side and CT side, and you're just sticking to it. Which, as I said, at the end of the day is not the worst thing, because you're trying to do what you feel comfortable with, but we need to be like expanding those plays so you can become like more of a complete player. Okay, really good 2 kills. That second kill was really nice, you locked on the guy really well. Yeah, so that third duel, obviously you could have gotten that kill easily, because the enemy was missing a lot. Unfortunately, you did as well. But now I'm gonna break down something to you that also might be beneficial for you, whether in the future or now. Should you have taken that fight? Obviously, I'm not gonna be this sort of a coach like, oh, play passive, because that's not the whole point. If you want to be carrying your lobbies, you need to be playing aggressive. But with the usage of this example, I want to break down something that I call a risk evaluation, and using it, you understand whether to make a decision or not. So now, in this situation, right here, after you get this kill, you should ask yourself a question. Which team would I rather be? The enemy team or my team? If the answer is my team, you shouldn't be doing anything, because that means you guys have a better situation and the enemies have a problem to solve. By giving them a fight, you are giving them the solution to the problem. They get a kill, they get some space, we are going to be lacking information. But another thing that we want to implement into our decision making is something that, as I said, we call risk calculation. So the way you do it is you need to compare the best outcome of your situation to the worst outcome. And if the best outcome is not worth the worst outcome, you simply do not make the decision. So now, let's compare the best outcome. Best outcome, if you peek silo right now, is you get that kill. So from a situation 3v2 with us having map control and basically the info about one guy, which is a really good situation already, we get into a little bit of a better situation. So from really good to slightly even better. Whereas now, if the worst situation happens, so you peek that guy and you die, from a really good situation, this becomes a 2v2, with the enemies having entire maps to themselves. There is only 2 of your teammates, and they can go anywhere they want. And we are now going to be lacking information, because if you die, we don't know where they went. So as you can see, the best decision is not worth the worst decision, because the situation is already really good. By killing that guy, you make it slightly better, and by dying, you make it a lot worse. So this is kind of how we operate, whether to make a decision or not to make a decision. But still, I mean, as I said, being aggressive on packs is good. I just wanted to use this example to kind of showcase how to make your decisions, not to sometimes throw around the way. Okay, so we're definitely late to main, like a lot late, but okay, we get 2 kills. Yeah, and the enemies are going down vents. Yeah, you want to go secret. You never want to follow them in vents. They could be trying to knife you there, Zeus you or something, shotgun you. So this is a really good rotation right here. I'm not sure why we're swiping the floor with our crosshair. We should be a little bit more ready for a possible push. Yeah, there we go. But there's definitely potential in you, that I have to say. Like, if you would be to join my long-term coaching, I feel like we could definitely make your improvement a lot faster. Because I can already tell that like you like dueling people, and that's the most important thing about improving. If you're not afraid to take fights, then yeah, I mean the world is open. So yeah, that's something you would be interested in, definitely drop me a message. Okay, so this wasn't so bad. You went main, you understood there is stuff going on, and you wanted to peek before the smoke exploded, which I actually personally like. Why? Because if you let that smoke explode, and you also don't have the nade to kind of break it, you will become useless, and your teammates are gonna be kind of stuck. So you chose to peek, and the reason why this peek is also really good is because you're peeking a really tight angle. It's really easy for you to spray people down in tight angles like this or hut. So this was actually a really good decision. You got one kill, you got a lot of damage, you got the info on the next guy, so not bad indeed. Okay, so you're pre-aiming the nade in case they push the door, which is not a bad idea because the enemies were pushing door in the past, so this is what we call pattern recognition. You've recognized the pattern, but personally, I think you would benefit more from just simply being ready with your M4 and being ready to spray them down in case they push, because once again, it's a tight angle, you will do a lot of damage, a lot of kills maybe potentially to get if you just simply spray it rather than nade it, because the nade might turn out to be like something that gets you killed because the enemy, they don't know that you're gonna be nading, so they're not gonna be afraid of it. They might just open the door and push you. You throw the nade, they headshot you. That's not worth it, obviously, right? Okay, so you heard the guy drop. Now, do we follow him? It seems like you don't want to follow him. You could have considered trying to sneak out of the smoke just simply based on sound that he was making, that he's going under heaven. Also could have considered nading the smoke to see what's going on, if I'm being honest. Oh, here you have beautiful timing. Actually spotting him last second. Ooh, there is, yeah, no predicting that. He had way too good of an angle against you there. But yeah, I myself probably would have tried to push that smoke or nade that smoke, because what happened here is what you kind of prevented from happening 2 rounds ago. 2 rounds ago you got smoked, so you peeked the smoke to not be useless, whereas this round you got smoked and we kind of just chilled there. Like, nade the smoke, see what's happening, or push based on the sound, but you don't want to become useless. Even trying to go down vents wouldn't be so bad. If you go down vents and you try to push towards secret to find out if they're going lower or if they're going upper. Okay, so seems like our teammates are kind of carrying this round. So last guy ramp, we can skip it. Nice double kill. And rotation to secret, perfect. That one you have on lock. And here just confidence, gun out, we don't need to smoke or flash anything. They have just pistols, you just wanna make sure that he doesn't catch you with a smoke or a flash in hand. That's the only way the Glock is gonna win against you, so perfect. Like the golden rule, another golden rule you can add is that if the enemy has eco, you don't want to overuse your nades, essentially. Any nades, smokes, flashes, because you already have the upper hand on having a better gun, so that's what you want to just maintain. Okay, I like that. You responded to the door aggression by spraying a little bit, nading and stuff, but you were also aware that something is happening outside, and you take the fight beautifully. A really good peek, decent crosshair placement. The swing was nice, so this was perfect. Yeah, but here, don't be lazy. So you peek this and look where your crosshair is. Maintain the crosshair and the angle moment. Because at this point, if somebody peeks you, we're dead. So make sure to always move with your crosshair. If you're moving to the right and you want to maintain the crosshair, move your mouse to the left. Because when you move, your crosshair moves with you. That's why we have to counter it by moving our mouse to the opposite direction. But okay, we can skip this because the guy is literally just camping on the roof. There we go. We hear him. Nice. And that was actually decent, because what you did right here is what I was talking about a couple of rounds ago. randomizing the timing. So he heard you there, but you didn't immediately peek. You waited like 5 seconds, then you peeked. And that's what caught him off guard. Because usually what people think, that's kind of how our brain works, is when we hold an angle, usually we're going to assume that if somebody was there, they would have peeked me by now. So then they fall asleep on that angle and then you peeked it. So that's something that you can definitely use more often. If you get spotted or if somebody you know like is holding that angle, wait a couple of seconds to randomize the timing and then peek it later. Okay, so we take that fight again, but yeah, this is the problem. Before you did it perfectly, now unfortunately not. So as I told you, this game is heavy peeker's advantage. So now, you peek this angle, boom, beautiful. This is good. You forced yourself to be the peeker, so to say, the one peeking. And now get off the angle completely, wait a couple of seconds and peek it again. You don't want to hold it, whereas here you end up holding this angle and then bam, peeker's advantage gets you. So remember, you always want to end up on like being the peeker one. You never want to be on the receiving end of somebody peeking you, if there is a possibility. So the way we play this game essentially is we peek an angle, nobody there, we hide. We peek it again, so you're always the one peeking. And same thing here. Okay, you peeked it, and now this is a little bit better. Because here you can see what you did. Bam. You got away from the angle, and once again you peeked the angle. So this is actually a lot better. A small difference, but that's how it's supposed to be. Nice follow-up. Maybe not the follow-up, but nice cover, I would say. Okay, so we're gonna skip a little bit because I can see the T's are not rushing to do anything. Oh, and you opened them up by accident. Okay. Oh, here we're a little bit lucky that... Okay, the flashes definitely need some work. If you ever end up on my session, I'll show you how to throw util like in a proper way, but it's okay. The round was really nice. Seems like the enemies wanted to do a ramp push, but your teammates actually played well with the util. So you decided to flank. I myself probably wouldn't, mainly because unless your teammates said that they're all 5 there. But the reason why is I would be afraid of a potential lurker and giving away like the M4 to like the Mach 10 player or something. I feel like the vent rotation would just be good enough. But if you had info about all 5, then it's fine. Okay, so we got a lot of damage on him. Unfortunately, he hit the head, we didn't. And now let's see our T side. And see, like, usually what you should expect is exactly what you see here. One guy garage, one guy main. The same way you guys played. So now your teammate kills the guy in garage, we can see that. Now we should be worried about main. So keep your crosshair close to main head height. Whereas here, look at what you do. You start jumping, you're looking at the floor. Like, I know there is a guy in front of it, but look where you're looking. Your crosshair needs to be here. This is the next threat. So always follow the angle, always. The next threat, whatever it is, like same way on ramp that we didn't clear like that right side, which could have been the next threat. Your crosshair should always be following the next threat. Whatever the next angle could threaten me, that's where my crosshair should be. And same thing here. We know there is a guy in heaven, because we just fought him. You're getting on A side, and you're not even aiming at heaven. And here, I mean, I don't blame you for this, because somebody should have been covering you, and they didn't, so... But no, not a good vote. Sorry, not a bad vote. Not a good vote, not a bad vote. So yeah, everything is there of what you need to work on. And if you're gonna have any follow-up questions at all, make sure to send me a message. If you would be interested in the long-term coaching, you can definitely add me on Discord. My nickname, I'll just type here, is like this. This is my nickname on Discord. You can reach out to me. We could figure out like some long-term coaching for you, or a deal for VOD reviews if that's what you prefer. But as I said, this is actually a decent VOD. I would definitely enjoy working with you because you're not afraid of taking fights. So I would actually be able to implement a lot of like my aggressive strategies and approaches to you. But as I said, if you have any questions, just hit me up.